Hey guys, welcome back.
Hey guys, brand new podcast.
Hey, wait a minute. It's my podcast.
Oh, sorry, I forgot.
Enjoy. I like it down here so I can see you.
Right. Benny said, that's what she said, which I made him stop saying.
That's what she said?
Yeah.
Oh, Bernard.
Oh my God, it's constant.
Who?
He with his pink socks. He kills me with his pink socks.
Who is that?
Bernard.
Benny, you should have seen him on the way to
Bernard?
school today.
Bert calls Benny Bernard. Bert has called him Bernard since, second grade? Since George was in second grade?
Yeah.
Always. He met him. He's like, oh, Bernard.
He's turned into quite the handsome man.
Isn't he?
He's
a
got
looker.
very big, giant feet. And he's not petite. He's got Mark's bones, which are like big, so he's like, but he's slim.
Yeah.
But he's got like big Flintstone feet,
How funny. He is so cute.
He's super cute.
He's so, he wore this, well, those umbrellas that you just wear on your head?
Yes. Isla has
all
one.
different colors?
Yes,
Yeah.
Isla has one.
Yeah, he wore that to school today.
You know Isla has one of those.
Yeah, right.
I think Bernard and Isla are actually similar in some
I
ways.
think we
Yeah.
should get them together more. I think they would have a blast.
I
I don't
think
think
they
they
would.
realize how fun they would be together.
I don't think they do either because I think they have a very similar quirkiness.
Yeah.
Like and an acceptance of their own quirkiness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Isla doesn't care that she's quirky or that anybody knows that.
Right. And Benny could care less if people are looking at him in a strange way, and he likes the attention and all that.
And when they're in the play together, she's always like, Benny got the part I wanted. That's the one I wanted. And I'm like, well, Miss Pam's got to give like boy parts to boys.
Yeah.
You can't have, she wanted the part he had in Singing in the Rain.
Oh, right.
So
Oh.
badly that she was almost didn't want to do the play. And of course I was like, that's not how it works. But I thought that's really funny that in saying that they have the same kind of
Yeah.
quirky sensibility,
Yeah.
that she wants the same part that he wants.
Yeah.
The kind of goofy out there
What is she now?
fun.
in Wizard
She's
of
the
Oz?
wizard.
She is
She's the wizard.
We got to come see it. So it's Thursday,
No, it's
Saturday.
Friday, Saturday, I think.
This week?
No, next week.
Oh, next
the
week.
8th and 9th? 7th and 8th? I don't know. It's one of those.
We're Friday night, Saturday. So you must be Saturday, Sunday?
Maybe Saturday, Sunday. I don't know. I'll have to look at it again. But yeah, she's the wizard. She's really excited to be
Is
the
she?
wizard.
She's really
Yeah,
good?
she's really excited. She wanted to be the wizard because she didn't want to be the witch because she didn't want to wear a dress. She
Yeah.
likes being guys.
Yeah.
And she likes boys. She thinks boys are cute. She's really secretive about liking boys, but she likes to play guys in plays. She doesn't like to play girls.
Right.
'Cause
Do
she
you
was
think
a
that's
girl.
because of the fact that she doesn't want to put on the dress, or
I think it's part of it.
that like it's a safer bet for her as far as clothing goes?
Yeah.
Or do you think it's just that she can relate more?
Yeah, because
To
some
the
of those
male
plays, you have the
character.
girls are,
She's not
girly,
that.
and she's not that.
Nope, she's not a girly girl.
So it'd be more comfortable to be more of the
the boy.
boy.
Well,
I totally get
when
that.
Miss Smith, the choir teacher, was trying so hard to get her to join show choir, and she was like entertaining it for a bit, and finally she said, I will join show choir if I can always be a boy. And Miss Smith was like, you can totally be a boy. I have girls that are boys all the time. I mean, that's totally fine. And she was like, okay, well, maybe I'll do it then, and then changed her mind. And she was like, I'm sure I'll have to wear a dress at some point, and I'm not doing that.
Right.
No,
Just so
I think there was a lot of kids that were girls that were boys.
Yeah, there were.
was several of them.
There were several, yeah. They were good dancers.
They were really good dancers.
Yeah, the girls that were boys were really good dancers.
Because I'm sure there's not a lot of boys who try out for show choir.
There is
Unfortunately.
actually.
Are
Yeah,
there?
a
Oh, good.
ton.
There's quite a bit.
Oh, good.
A ton. Yeah. I was surprised.
It's a pretty prestigious show choir though.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not
Right.
hokey doke.
That's pretty fancy.
Speaking of which, somebody has their first choir performance tonight.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Oh,
Who?
she excited? Tatum.
Tatum.
Oh.
I couldn't tell you. Haven't really heard one word about it.
No?
Just that she'll be done at school today at 9.
Tonight.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she has practice and then she has a show. I think it's I think she's really put off by the dresses. They wear the traditional long black
Ah.
Evening
dress,
gowny kind of thing?
It's
But that's so her. She loves dressing up in
No,
dresses.
no. It's not fancy dress.
Oh.
It's dowdy.
Dowdy dress. Oh.
That's not her.
That's not her.
Not at all.
It's not cute, fancy, everybody wear hot red lipstick
right.
dress.
Right. You can wear
It's-
the hot red lipstick. It doesn't improve much, right?
Yeah, it's dowdy dress and flats, and so she is not super excited about it. But we'll see. And I think it's very, very small.
Oh, yeah.
The choir's pretty small, so
Oh, that's nice.
yeah.
Compared to
Yeah, our school.
our school.
Our school has a huge show choir. And
Yeah.
win first place every competition. And it's crazy. That show choir, I mean, I was really impressed by the entire music department at our middle school.
Right.
It was, I couldn't believe the orchestra would play.
Right.
I would listen to the jazz band and go, these people are in 6th grade? How are you
Right.
playing like Cole Porter in 6th
Right.
grade? I don't understand
And
how.
they love their teacher.
They do.
Those music teachers are amazing.
They are, both of them.
Yeah.
Mr.
So lucky to have that.
Yeah, they're so
mean,
lucky. And at public school.
In a public school.
in this neighborhood, yeah.
By the way, we played water polo against you guys. It was
Oh
not
yeah,
pretty.
it wasn't pretty.
No, but you
we
guys-
have a really good water polo team.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Girls.
they're pretty
Yeah.
good. She wants to play.
She
She
does?
said that she's interested.
It looks
in it.
really fun. I didn't know anything about it, and I'm watching now. I've been to 2 or 3 games, and I could totally jump in and do it. It'd be so much fun. Maybe we should
yeah?
start our own,
Any-
water.
in my tiny 11 by 20 pool.
That's perfect because
Yeah.
we can stand up.
Yeah, well, on this end is 6 feet deep.
Oh no!
So we put the really good shape people on this end to tread water the whole time.
the younger
other-
people down here.
Yeah, right. So Gabby likes it, she said.
She likes it. She they're playing the seniors because there's only one team, so there's no JV.
Right.
And so she's happy to be sitting on the sideline. So like we were losing by a ton, and so he pulls the seniors out and puts the freshies in.
Awesome.
And your team, which was beautiful, he did the same thing. He took the good older kids out and threw the younger kids in, so they could all, because obviously you guys were going to win,
Right.
And so the younger kids could get experience in the pool. But it was beautiful. They were really nice. Gabriella said that you could tell that they were your girls were helping our girls a little bit.
Oh,
that
that's
was really
awesome.
sweet
That's
because they were,
amazing.
yeah.
I will say that that's one thing about the sports there. It's very collaborative and there isn't any, I mean, of course there's rivalry,
Right.
but like at the football games, at a couple of the football games during halftime, the other cheer team comes over and brings gifts to our cheer team, and then our cheer team gives them gifts or snacks and cookies and that type of thing. So it's not like it's more of a friendly thing versus a combative thing, which is really nice. And anytime any player's hurt, the whole team sits down. It's very respectful.
Georgia's like that too. Georgia's high
Same thing.
school is like that too. Yeah. I mean, obviously her all-girl school does not have a football team, but the brother school does. And the few games we've been to has been the same. The cheerleaders meet at halftime and
It's
exchange
really
gifts.
cute.
It's really sweet. It's really good because when I was a cheerleader, we're like, "Fuck you!"
Right, I know, right?
I
like,
hate you.
Right.
Fist fights, nice outfit.
I know, right?
Right.
You
Look
suck.
at them. Yeah.
Yep. You suck. You're gonna die.
Yeah.
Someone's going home in a stretcher tonight. My football team went to state championships and either won or was the loser of state championships every year for literally 20 years. It was a legacy. And the smallest, single A, which is the smallest level, because our high school is so small. But the hometown man Friday, nobody was at home. Everybody was in that football stadium.
Friday Night Lights.
Everybody. My grandparents would go. I mean, it was Friday Night Lights, yeah. The whole town was there. So they were really competitive and really territorial about football.
Well, there's not a lot more going on there. I mean, it wasn't
No.
like there was a lot of different activities that people could get behind or be involved in.
No, there's nothing to do. There was at that time, I think there was one restaurant that stayed open till 7:30. So there was not even anywhere to go out to eat. I mean, we got a Hardee's when I was, I think, a junior in high school, and it was like ticker tape parade. We got a grocery store probably when I was a sophomore, about right around the same time, because they were in the same kind of complex, the Hardee's and the Piggly Wiggly.
Oh my God, I love the Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah, the Piggly Wiggly is an interesting place. But yeah, we'd have to drive 45 minutes to go to the grocery store. before the Piggly Wiggly came to town. So there's really nothing to do but go to the football game.
Plus, I'm thinking like now for LA, you have to travel so far and in traffic to go to these football games, and no one really wants to do it. You know what I
Right.
mean? I think in small towns,
Yeah.
that it's a lot closer.
Yeah.
That people can just, a mile or whatever, be there in 10 minutes and go to the local stuff. I'm trying to think, like, I noticed this LA, Northern California thing too, that people go out to see music in Northern California a lot more than they do here.
Interesting.
So it's really fun for Mark to play up there because people go and they show up and they pay to watch live music. Whereas here, that maybe there's too many places. Maybe it's too far to go.
It's because you have to drive and then spend $45 to park.
Right.
And then you get there and it's not a very good venue.
Yeah.
You can't see, you can't hear.
And there's a lot more venues to go to that you're split up between. Well, I don't know. I can't figure out why it's so popular to go out and in the evening there and listen to live music or go to a football game or small town anywhere, I would think.
I think probably so. That's interesting you say that because until recently, comedy was very much the same. No one came out to see comedy in LA. Bert never sold tickets in LA. Like he would headline the Melrose Improv. Crickets. They'd have to give tickets away. But then he'd drive, an hour to Brea and he'd sell out 4 or 5 shows, 350 seats a show.
Right.
And it's really a head scratcher. I don't know if people are just too self-important, if they're too like, oh, I won't go see some, schmo who's got a guitar and a good sense of humor. I'm not going to waste my time. I don't know what the deal is.
Right.
If it is the parking, just semantics of it. I don't know,
Too far to
but
go? Oh, yeah.
until
Why is that?
recently, there's been a big resurgence at the Comedy Store, and people are coming to see comedy now. But it's venue specific, really. I don't know that it's changed at the other venues. It's very specific to the store. The store has a big history,
Right.
and this new manager came in and just kind of revamped it, which is great. And it's great for Bert because he can just go show up, and it's a full house 7 nights a week there. But that's really recent. It's only the last couple years. And it is specific to that venue. It's not citywide.
We
So-
went there actually a few months ago.
You did?
Yeah. And just thought, let's just pop in. I'm sure there's always seats available. And there wasn't. We had to wait in line. They're like, yeah, there's a wait list.
Yeah.
Great.
I know. It was, except for we had to wait in line.
Yeah,
We had
but
to-
Well, if you ever do that again, just call me.
I know. I didn't even think we didn't even know. We were just out
Just
for
last
drinks
minute.
and decided to go.
Well, if you ever have it again, you just call me. Not everybody call me. Just Kathy. Just
Right,
Kathy. Or Margaret, but not everybody listening. But so it took us forever to get back to this topic, right?
Sorry about last time. My
No, it's not
mother-in-law
you.
died the night before, and I just was not in a headspace to even think. Like, I could have made it because it wasn't like anything was going on, but I just was like, I kept putting it. I'm like, okay, should I go? Should I not go? I'm not
No.
feeling it.
No, you should not have gone. No.
And so I felt
no.
terrible.
Don't feel terrible. You know what happened? Oh, I don't even think you know this.
I know it because I heard it.
Oh, you did?
I listened to your podcast. Yes.
Oh, how funny.
Yes.
Isn't that so? It's
Yes,
a great
that was
happy
great.
accident. I don't
Yeah.
know if you knew.
I did. I
You
listened
did?
on my 7-hour drive home.
Oh, my
that
God,
and your vacation one.
Yeah, I
with
heard that one,
Sandy.
too.
And
Oh, with Sandy.
I just want to go on the record. I want to go next
Me
time.
too.
All right. We had a
Totally
blast.
want to go.
Sounds
We had
awesome.
so much fun. I know I'm still having a little bit of depression from like that being over.
Coming down.
Yeah, not that I want to live there or spend my life doing that at all. I love my life, but I still was like, that really was an amazing trip in every way. I think I'm going to make like a photo book of it. How dorky is that? But I was
That's
like,
not
I want to
dorky.
go back and look at. It was just such a rich trip.
Yeah.
it was really rich with culture and food and fun. We had so much fun. But yeah, it was a happy accident. When you canceled and she locked herself out, I was like, hey,
Come on
want to
in.
come be on a podcast?
That's
And she was
perfect.
awesome.
Yeah,
She's
she was
super cute.
She's adorable. And, how often do you talk to somebody who just moved here? We've been
Right.
here forever.
Right.
It's interesting to hear what they're going through and, how it's different and what a story she had.
Yeah, sweet girl.
She has a lot of hard stuff she's had to go through at a young age, really hard. Yeah.
I hope it's
Crazy.
smooth sailing for her from now on.
I do too. I hope so too. She and her sister came over years ago when we first moved into this house. And I just remember her sister just being like her, just super lovely. And I remember when she got ill, As I asked my neighbor, I saw my neighbor in the yard and she did not look herself. I was like, well, what's going on? And she told me it was just devastating to lose somebody that young to brain cancer, and there's nothing you can do. Must be really hard.
It's horrible.
But anyway, so thanks for making the time to come back.
Sure.
And talk about this.
All right.
So we're following up on the career test that we all took. How did it go for you guys?
Well, I was under pressure to take it.
Why?
Well, I just felt like I got to do this. I said I was going to do it, so I need to do this test, and I wanted to do it, right? But the window, because when we were going to do it like the next day, so I'm like, I have to do it today,
Right.
And it was just a busy day, so I sat down to do it, and I was taking the test, and I was like, they're like, how do you feel about this, situation or whatever? And so I was I was so busy. I was thinking, I don't want to do anything because I've got to go in the other room and get those bills paid.
Right.
And I've got to go pick up so-and-so, and I've got to do this. And my mind was so busy having to do other things.
Right.
That I think I rushed through the test.
Uh-huh.
So it probably wasn't a very good, because I was like, no, I don't feel like doing that. Even if I would have later, like if I were more calm, I would have been like, oh, that sounds fun. But I was like, no, nothing sounds good to me.
Right.
Because I'm too busy. I don't want to do anything but what I got to get my,
So the
my
result
to-do
of your
list.
test was like warden.
Skewed.
Yeah.
It was like jail warden, right? Sadomasochist whipper or something. I don't know. Yeah. So that's interesting. I wonder. So then, do you think the results, did they not resonate with you? Did you go, that's not me?
Kind of.
Really?
But-
Oh, bummer.
Yeah. So I feel like either I take it over or go to the next step and do Jair.
Yeah, Jair.
Jair.
I mean, I would love to do Jair and that other one, the other test where you find out your
Your
Your neighbors?
no.
yes, the neighbor's
Yeah,
test.
the neighbor's test.
Your neighbors.
Isn't that
John,
your neighbor?
yeah.
Oh, your
John told us
neighbors.
about.
I was like, you test your neighbor? Hey, neighbor, what do you think
That
about me,
could be
neighbor?
interesting.
I have the flyer in here. I meant to pull it out. It's about your
what you're good at.
what you're good at. Yes, it's called
your
an
aptitude.
aptitude test.
Aptitude.
Right. Hello. The word aptitude was escaping me.
Are you having hot flashes?
Yeah, no, I'm just warm.
I think, the Jair test is a behavioral test. So it's not really about your aptitude. It's totally different. It's about why you do what you do.
That's why I was
Right?
thinking if you got the two together,
It'd be amazing.
it would be amazing
Right?
because
I'm trying to find the name
I mean,
of
it
this.
sounds nice to find out what your aptitude is, but really, do you want? So you're good at it, but do you really want to do that? So if you did both, wouldn't that be amazing to find that result?
Yeah,
To
it
compare
would
them?
be.
But I mean, isn't his thing also so you figure out why you're doing what you do, or that you can change the way that you do things as
Yes.
well?
Part of it, yes. Like for my result where I was 98% other focused. So now I can say, and he said that's really out of balance. That's really from trauma in your childhood, and it makes you, care for other people because that is how you survive, and that's really unhealthy. So the long-term effects of that is you end up resenting the people you take care of, and you end up disconnecting from the people that because you've given so much of yourself that it makes you angry and resentful. That's in his findings in general, not with me specifically, but in general, someone who's that out of balance with taking care of other people ends up having those feelings later. So in order to stop that process, then you go, okay, well then clearly I'm not taking care of myself. Clearly I'm not asking for help. Clearly I'm not saying what I need. Why am I doing that? Because I that totally screwed me up for days. And I had many soul searching moments where I was like, why am I doing that? Like I'm a smart person. And that hit me so hard. It must be accurate.
Right.
Because I had such an emotional reaction to it. So where can I now make some changes? One of the things I started doing, I said this just the other day on a podcast. Sorry, I'm repeating it. But I figured out that I had determined that your wants were actually a need, but my need was actually a want. So if I need to go to the doctor, that's optional, really, in my psyche.
Oh, I have the same psyche, I think.
And then, but if you need to go to the doctor, It's an absolute want. Or if you need to go to Disney on Ice because it's fun, that totally trumps my need to go to the doctor.
That's a need, not a want.
That's a need, not a want. In my perspective, not in their perspective, but in mine, where I go, well, if you need that, then I'm going to do that.
I needed to drop off Drake's clothes.
Right.
Even though he didn't actually need them.
Right, exactly. And then, but you displace your own needs. Where you go, well, my need really is a want, which makes it optional. Because wants are optional. You know, you may want an ice cream cone, but you don't need it. You actually probably need broccoli. You know, so you see what I mean? So that is what happened for me. And I started going, well, then what are my needs? What do I need? Oh, you know what? I need some pretty basic things. Like I need my kids to help me a little more around the house. I really need that because it's so out of balance. So if you take 2 things and you take 2 things, now I have 4 things off my plate, which is huge. So I started doing little bitty shifts like that. That makes me feel better. And then sometimes we get back in the rut where I'm doing everything and they're doing nothing. And I have to go, nope.
Right.
This is me going back into that 98%.
Right. It's just easier to do it yourself than to argue with them.
It really
Yes.
is sometimes.
Yeah.
And
It
but
is.
you have to stop yourself.
Right.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
It's like, God,
And
I
then
wanted
you-
to put those dishes away this morning, but I'm not doing it. I'm not putting those dishes away.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you have a partner, we're like, oh, I'll just do it. Blah, blah. I'm like, no, they need to have to do it. They need to do it.
I don't have that partner. That is not my partner. My partner's like, oh, make them do it. I'm not doing anything. I'm making money. I don't need to take the garbage out. You know, okay. Well, most of the garbage is yours. So.
Right.
But that was really helpful. But I think if you can't figure out how to practically apply the information, it's just information. You know, like if I didn't sit with myself and go, okay, well, what does that look like every day? Right? What does 98% other focus look like every day? Okay, it looks like me doing every single thing and no one does anything. So how do I shift those duties? And it was why I started this podcast too, is because I go, okay, I am fully focused on Bert Kreischer's career and I don't focus on myself at all. So how can I focus on something that's for me, that's really just for me? Okay, well, let's try this and see if I like it.
Right. I'm glad you found something that you like
I really enjoy it. Yeah.
and that you're really good at. So
Well, thank you. I hope I'm good at it.
You are really good at it.
Oh, thanks.
You have a great voice
Oh,
to listen
thanks.
to, you know, and you're really comfortable with it. So it's
Yeah.
really interesting. And I know most of the people who are
I know, right?
talking, so it's really interesting for me. And I'm sure they
you either know them or you feel like you know them
Right.
afterwards.
Right,
You,
right.
like, you feel like you totally know them,
yeah.
Right.
which is good. That's what it's meant for. It
Yeah,
makes
that's what I
people
wanted.
Feel like they're hanging out with you.
Yeah, I wanted people to feel like they were hanging out with all of us because I
Right.
have so many great friends.
Right.
So anyway, I feel like we got off track a little bit. But so you didn't think your career test really resonated with you?
Well, I just felt bad because I just felt like
You flew
I
through
didn't
it.
give it 100% of my time. I was distracted going, I just have to get through this because I got to go pay my bills and get them in the mailbox.
And we're doing this tomorrow, and I'm out of time.
Yeah. So I'd really, the first one was photographer.
Oh, that was my first one.
Was it?
Photographer too. I take the worst pictures on this planet.
Oh, you
I
do?
feel like I do. Every time I take a picture, Bert goes, "That's not even straight. I mean, it's not even level. I mean, what were you doing? What were you looking at?" And I'm like, "Well, I was looking at the thing." And he's, yeah, I was surprised by that.
How do you even get photographer?
I don't know. That's what I was trying to think too. What did I say that it would make me get photographer?
Me too.
Except that I don't want to work with other people or something. Like I work better by myself or
Right.
something.
Yeah, I
But
don't know.
since then, it's so funny. I've been driving down the street and going, oh my gosh, that's such an interesting picture. And like
Shut up.
Twice now, I've stopped my car, turned around, and taken a picture that I thought was really interesting. And I'm like,
maybe.
right.
How funny.
But weird pictures. Like there was, those bins that you put stuff in to give to like the Goodwill
Yeah.
pickup
Right.
places. There was like this giant stuffed animal horse stuffed in it, and the way the horse's face was coming out of the bin was so sad, and he's just in there with his head cocked over. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is the saddest picture, but it was such a great framed picture of this
Yeah.
a stuffed poor horse in this bin.
How funny.
And then there was another one in a parking lot of a tree, and someone had in the tree leaves, had put carved a happy face in it, and it was in the middle of a parking lot in Burbank, and I thought, what a cool picture,
Right?
of just this tree. So I've stopped myself twice now to take
How
pictures
funny.
of just life,
The
in
subliminal
LA.
suggestion.
Yes.
Photographer.
Maybe it's correct after all.
Yeah.
And you just didn't realize.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's pretty funny. I sort of did the same thing because we did this before. I did this before I went to Vietnam. And photographer was my first one. I was like, that's interesting. The rest of them kind of fell in line with me. But then I started paying better attention to the pictures I took in Vietnam.
You did.
Because I was like, it's a one-shot deal here.
Right.
Like, I'm never coming
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
Your pictures were
Like,
really
I
good.
got it. I thought I did a great job. But it was the first time I really went, okay, let me really pay attention to what I'm doing. Now, I don't know if it's because Bert has berated me for 14 years about being a bad photographer.
Right.
Or if photographer came up first and I was like, oh, maybe I have a knack I haven't uncovered. So anyway, but you didn't feel that resonated with you, but now you've been doing that a little bit. Isn't that
So I thought
interesting?
that was interesting. And the second one was animal caretaker, which
Well,
is like,
duh. You're
Right?
already an animal caretaker. Okay, so this so far is like batting 1,000.
Got
Right.
you covered.
But then the third one was travel agent, which I wouldn't want to be a travel agent, but you take the test, I was like, oh my God, I love to travel. I'd love to travel more, adventure, blah, blah, videographer, photographer, travel agent, put all those together. They could work. Detective. I don't think I knew that, but
A detective?
animal behavioral specialist, a florist. I would never be in a million years.
Isn't
much
that interesting?
creativity.
A florist.
Florist. My
Park
aunt
naturalist.
owned a floral shop, and when I was younger, I thought, oh, that would be a great job. And then there's just no way.
I guess, I could never do that.
No.
I'm just
yeah.
not creative. I could never.
That
Which
way.
flower goes where? No, too much. Takes too much thought and time.
Right.
That's why they make them up for you.
Right.
Exactly.
You don't have to do that.
Pick them up pre-made.
Photojournalist, tour guide, which I was in the past.
Were you really?
Yes, in San Francisco, which is so funny. Humanitarian, pet adoption counselor.
I mean, you got pets
I
everywhere.
know. Career counselor, graphic designer. I don't know. Baker. Not really me. Yeah. Special agent.
Special agent. But detective is interesting because, Margaret, you see things differently than other people do a lot of the time.
I do.
You'll bring up something and I go, oh, never thought of it like that. I never saw it that way. And then I go, oh, well, now that you pointed out like that, that's absolutely right. I totally missed that.
I do?
Yes, you do. Yeah, you do all the time for me. Where I go, oh, I never thought of that like that. And you are good at getting answers out of people, I think, without
Badgering
them knowing it. Not badgering. Well, maybe badgering sometimes, but not all the time.
Okay.
I don't ever feel badgered.
Okay, good.
But you've never really been mad at me. I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know how you'd be if you've been mad at somebody.
It's interesting to hear somebody else's thoughts of you. I would have never thought that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, well no, you and Kathy Fromkin actually is another one where we'll talk about something. I go, I never looked at it that way. Like that wasn't even in my wheelhouse at all, which to me is really helpful to have friends that have such vastly different perspectives about things, because then you can broaden your own perspective.
Right.
And then sometimes Kathy makes me feel stupid because I go, she doesn't. I make myself feel stupid. She'll say something. I go, I cannot believe I didn't freaking think of that.
Didn't even cross your mind.
I can't believe I didn't think of that. I'm a sensitive, open, caring person. And I just barreled through something not realizing that wasn't all good. And with all good intentions and no negativity meant.
Right.
And she'll go, but and I go, shit. Shit.
Didn't even think about that.
Damn it, Kathy. Why you have to tell me that shit? You know?
Right.
But I'm glad she does.
I remember that happened to me. My brother said, we're talking about something. And he was in police force for all his life. And we're talking about maybe getting gas or something. Now I hated getting gas. And he was like, I always have a full tank of gas because you never know when something's going to happen and you're going to have to race your kid to the emergency room in the middle of the night and you're on empty, which
Right.
I often am on empty because I hate getting gas. I'm like, oh, you're right. So now I was thinking about, I need to have gas in my car just for those times.
Right.
How many times, I don't know if you guys are like that, got in your car and like,
My car never has
Has
gas
gas.
in it, especially if my husband's been driving it. I swear to God, My dad used to say, what do you guys do? Drive around the block until it's completely empty. I think my husband does that to me.
Right.
It doesn't matter which car I pick. If he's driving one of them, when I go to get in, it's empty.
Yeah, that's me. I run them down to the bottom. But now I don't anymore because I'm like, I might have to leave in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I
But
drive
that
on
was what it was.
fumes.
Yeah.
me too.
Bert Kreischer makes him
Right.
crazy because
Right.
he's like your brother. He's like, what if something happens?
Right.
His is not about going to the emergency room. He's like, what if there's an apocalypse and we got to get out of here? I was like, guess
Zombies
what?
are coming.
There'll be so much fucking traffic.
Right.
It won't matter how much gas we have because we're not
That
going
too,
anywhere.
right?
Then he goes, okay, then I'm getting a motorcycle. I'm like, you're going to put 4 people on a motorcycle. Now that I've been to Vietnam,
I was going to say, it
Right?
worked
That's
there.
what they
it's
do.
possible. And I
Right.
was like, there's no way we can get 4 people on a motorcycle.
And the dogs.
And the dogs,
the chickens?
and the chickens, and the cat. Were we leaving them behind?
Right.
No. So yeah, he's the same way. He gets so mad at me when he gets in the car and it's on empty. I hate putting gas in too, but they're right. I mean, they're actually right.
Right.
If something were to happen and we were to need to go to the emergency room, yeah, I'm just gonna. I know you're bleeding to death, but I'm gonna pull over really quick and put $5
Right.
in.
Right?
Let me just call Uber.
Right.
Let me just call Uber. But then you got to wait 15 minutes for the Uber. Our Uber shows up at the shopping mall next door.
Oh,
I
because
can't find you, and I'm like,
Because I'm not there.
Because you're not at my house.
you're not at my house, dummy. I guess it's not a bad thing.
That's a good thing we could do. Think of a better, easier way to get gas. No one's changed the gas situation
No.
in a million years.
You're right.
We need to
Although
make it easier to get gas.
Gas
like-
delivery.
I don't know.
the electric car situation is.
Yeah, that's easier.
Yeah.
But we're not quite there yet.
No, we're not there yet either.
What kind of car are you getting?
We got a Navigator.
You did.
We did.
Awesome.
And it's beautiful.
Was it?
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's green.
Is it like dark green?
No, it's it looks almost like khaki.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's really pretty. And it has like black accents. It looks very guy.
Right.
It looks like a dude car.
Good. Dirt proof too.
Yeah, dirt proof. The inside is light,
Mm-hmm.
which is not dirt proof, but that's okay. You know, I worked the Suburban. I wanted a Suburban, and I just couldn't get him there.
Right.
I couldn't do it. So,
Was it too big for him, or he just didn't want a Suburban?
in his opinion, it just wasn't luxurious enough.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was a
more trucky.
utilitarian more than luxury.
It's on the low end of the big SUVs.
But that's what I wanted because
Yeah.
I throw so much crap in it,
Yeah.
I don't wanna
and I
worry
beat it
about
up,
it. Right.
and I wanted to worry about it. But he didn't want. He was adamantly, I need a luxury vehicle. So this is what we settled on.
Right.
And it doesn't have a bench in the middle row, which I'm really bummed about.
Me too.
okay. That is so funny because that's the one thing I don't want. I want the captain's
You want the
chairs.
captain's chairs? Well,
Yeah.
you can't find a bench
Right.
in the middle anywhere on any model. If you pay extra, you can have a bench.
Right. Oh, you're right because you have to buy the lower level model, like the mid
Yeah,
mid
the
level.
That don't
lowest.
come in. Yeah, that
Not
don't
the-
come in leather. You have to get cloth.
Right,
Or
that's
some
right.
Weird thing like
Yeah,
that.
it's really not good. Navigator will do it, but they do it in the like $100,000 car.
Yeah.
And it's special order. Like they don't have them anywhere. You have to special order it. So we were like, yeah, pass. We'll keep the captain's chair.
But they are more comfortable for the kids for long
Yeah.
trips. for
And
sure.
I want my kids separated.
Yeah. Well, we took the girls to school in it this morning. We just got it last night. And Georgia went, actually, I'm glad we got these chairs because this is really comfortable. And I feel like I'm part of the car. Like I felt like
Yeah.
you guys were in the front seat and we were in the back seat. And now I feel like we're all like in a car, like when we're in the BMW together. I was like, well, okay, well then good. Well, I guess
This is the way I got around it because I was wrapping my head. I was trying to get a front instead of a front bench seat. Remember those?
Yes.
Oh my
You can
God.
get those.
You
Right.
can?
Yes. And the middle, you can flip up so it's still a utility compartment, or you can flip it down and there's like a lock. You can even lock it with a key. And so it has like 3 different positions.
Wow.
But it's hard because it only comes in cloth. And so you'd have to get the whole car redone if you wanted the leather. And
Right.
we just can't have cloth. It's too
Yeah.
messy.
Especially with as many dogs as you have right now, you
yeah.
can't have cloth.
Can't have cloth.
You would just have fur embedded in every inch.
Right.
Yeah.
And dirt and stains, even with the kids spilling stuff.
yeah.
But this is the way I made it okay. It was the kids are now 15, almost 16. They're going to be driving next year. Soon we're not going to be driving them. They're going to be driving their friends, in these cars.
Yeah.
So if they're all turning 16, they're all going to have cars to drive in. So they can now take 2 cars. Georgia can drive a couple people. Gabriella can drive a couple people. If they wanted to all go somewhere together, because that was my concern. Like, I'm not going to be able to fit all of Benny's friends or Gabriella's friends in my car.
Right.
But now they're each going to have a car, so they can all meet at the movies or whatever.
Right.
So not one parent has to pick them up anymore.
Right.
So that way we didn't need that extra seat.
Right. That makes sense.
Plus that one extra seat. It's like, how many times do you actually use it?
How many, do you fill your car?
Like 2 or 3 times a year, and it's super nice when we use it. But I mean,
and who is in it? Like, is it family members or other kids or?
Usually like 2 families, like 8 of us.
Yeah, that was my point too.
I can fit like 8 of us. There's 4 and 4. And it's a tight squeeze, but like if you're just going to the Hollywood Bowl or you're going somewhere, it works. But I had 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 kids in there yesterday, and it was fine.
Yeah.
And that would have worked for the captain's chairs as well.
Yeah, totally. Because you 7, still 7. Well, the problem we had with the reason we didn't get the Suburban or the Denali or any of that is the way back seat is like on the ground. So they sit with their legs up like this. And I got in that car and she was like, I'm not riding in this way back. This is so uncomfortable. Like if we drive 5 hours to San Francisco, I'm going to be sitting folded in half. I don't want to do that.
Right.
So my Denali isn't like that.
No, but yours is older, yeah.
Because it's super old. And that's why I don't want to get rid of it. The back seats are
the Fords are not.
So they're up off
the Ford is a regular back seat. So a Ford or the Navigator have the regular back seat that folds down into the thing. That's what our Expedition is, the great back seat. So the kids weren't going to go to that from the great back seat to the folded up.
Right.
And the leg room between the captain's chairs and that back seat wasn't very good. So they were like, we just don't want this car because it's not comfortable. And we're the ones that end up sitting in the way back. You know, we go somewhere, we usually have the 4 adults in the front, you know, and 1 kid and 3 kids in the back. And they don't want to sit all folded up. And I was like, who wants to pay $100,000 for a car that's uncomfortable in the way back for them? I mean, if you're paying less, that's okay. But that's how we thought. That's how we ended up in the Navigator. Anyway, we've gotten totally off track again.
Completely off track.
All right. So to wrap up your career.
Yes.
So it was pretty accurate, actually, even with you feeling like you were off.
Right. I guess when I first looked at photographer, I'm like, wait, what?
But the animal stuff?
The animal stuff. Yeah, the tour guide stuff, which, you know, I could travel.
So you're already doing what you have a proclivity to do. Is that the right word?
I guess.
So because we do work with animals a lot.
There's just, you know, no money in what I do.
Did it rank it by the one you can make the most money? But no, but it put the salaries next to it. Oh, so you could see on mine, I have the salary for each job. So a photographer makes about $40,000 a year.
Yeah.
Negative 5% growth.
What does that mean?
Everyone has an iPhone.
No, it's going down 5% instead of up.
Great.
Okay, Kathy, what was your test results?
Take a guess at what my number 1 result
Accountant.
is. No.
What was it?
Detective.
Shut up.
Yeah,
I'm not
detective.
surprised at it either.
Why?
Because you ask good questions too. You ask really good questions. You're very thoughtful and you put 2 and 2 together really easily.
I must have been in a real mood when I did this because I must have been very suspicious of something going on.
Who's your kids
what are
texting?
What are those kids
what are
up
they
to?
looking at? Right.
Where's their phone?
Right?
Right. Number 2, special agent.
No way.
Wow. There's something about that's, I got
You
that
could
one
be
too.
a PI.
Yeah.
You totally could.
Yeah, that is interesting, actually.
Yeah, I bet.
Forensic psychologist.
I mean, you're just all over crime.
Right.
I am all over crime. Exactly. Commercial pilot.
Wow.
Is it your father-in-law one?
My father-in-law was, yes. He was a commercial pilot. So, but I don't want to be responsible for all those people in the back of the plane.
Right.
Heck no, there's no way I'd do that. Private detective.
Holy cow,
really
Kathy.
weird.
I know. Intelligence analyst.
Wow.
Musician. I couldn't carry a note if my life depended on it or play an instrument. I was the 3rd child. My oldest brother got the trumpet. My middle brother played the accordion just to piss my parents off. And I played nothing.
How funny.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
the 6th kid and same thing. Didn't get
Same
any.
thing. By then, you're not required.
Right.
They're too
Right.
busy making
Yeah,
you do
yeah.
things. I don't really have anything other than that. I mean, lawyer, psychologist. I got pilot, cryptographer.
What is that?
isn't that like a map maker? Like that's
a topographer, right?
no,
No?
what? No. That's a cartographer.
Oh, cartographer. Yes.
What's a
that's right.
cryptographer?
I don't
Oh, here
know.
comes Bert.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I got ethical hacker.
An ethical
What is
hacker?
that?
What does that mean?
That sounds kind of fun, whatever that is.
Yeah, an ethical hacker. I guess that's when you hack for the good. I don't
Oh, okay. I can see that.
like maybe to combat the bad hackers,
The bad hackers, the
non-ethical
trolls.
hackers.
Interesting. Ethical
Yeah.
hacker.
Ethical hacker.
Ethical hacker, but that's on the 3rd page, right after all of my special agent, detective, FBI, DEA, undercover, and everything else.
Do you like doing that stuff?
Do
Like digging?
I don't know. You know what? I like everything fair.
That's bad.
Aha.
I want things to be fair.
You do.
I do.
When's your birthday?
April 28th. I'm a Taurus.
You're a Taurus.
I'm a
You're a
Taurus.
Taurus.
Yeah, I'm a Taurus. Benny's a Gemini, though.
He's a Gemini?
But his first thing when I looked at his chart, his astrological chart, said this kid wants everything to be fair, and it is really hard to raise a child with
Yeah.
a sibling who wants everything to be fair all the time.
Yep. I have my Gemini is that way. Also.
Really?
Yep. Georgia Kreischer. I call her tit for tatter.
Right?
If you get it, I get it. If I
Life's
get it,
not that way.
life's not that way. You know the term I stole from Kathy Fromkin? Fair is not equal.
Yes.
It is
Yeah.
fair that your sister gets this and you don't get that right now because fair is not equal.
Then do they argue? But
100%. It doesn't help her, but I
No.
keep thinking at some point as an adult, maybe that term fair is not equal will sink in. Where she will understand that so-and-so gets promoted and so-and-so is phoning it in and cheating off everybody else. And that's just how it works. You know, it just doesn't, well, it's not fair. I guess it's a bad example, but you know what I mean? Some things happen good for other people that doesn't make sense. And you can't get hung up on like, why don't I have that? Or, you know, I only got 1 tablespoon more ice cream than I did.
Right.
You know, are you fucking kidding me?
That drives me crazy.
Why are you
That drives
watching
you
that
crazy?
closely?
No, what?
oh,
That
well-
somebody got more ice cream? Or
Oh no, it doesn't drive
argument?
me crazy, but like that drives me crazy with my kids because my son is like that, and you know, she's over there making cookies, and I know that she's eating half a pound of dough and is dipping the frosting all over her face, but he's like, just stop it. Did I not take you out to ice cream by yourself the other
Right.
day? It all evens out.
Yep. Fair is not equal. It's fair, but
Yeah.
it's not same.
I mean fair. Like I like a level playing field. Okay, I'll give you an example. This is my current rub, or one of them right now. Do we all go? You don't go to the same orthodontist. We all.
No.
A lot of people in this town generally go to the same orthodontist, and I've already been there. Both my kids have had braces, and it's time for one of my kids to have braces again. Mm-hmm. So come to find out, braces are all the same price, meaning what I pay out of pocket is the same price, whether I have insurance or not. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's not fair. That's a level playing field. Why should so my insurance is going to pay $2,000, so you're going to charge me $2,000 more. So, okay. So instead of the price for braces being $4,000, and if you have insurance, the price comes off of that and you pay whatever.
Right.
So if you have insurance, then the price is $6,000.
I
That's
see.
crazy.
That seems unethical.
So I'm kind of like,
That seems unethical. That seems like criminal somehow.
well, I think it's a fairly general practice for people when they have insurance. Like they bill insurance differently. I just took my son to an urgent care up north where they said, I don't think your insurance is covered. And then as I was leaving, it's like the cash price is a 30% discount. I was like, why would the cash price be a 30% discount?
Why would it be any different?
Because they're screwing the insurance company, which is why we pay so much for insurance.
That's really criminal. That's really criminal behavior. I don't like that behavior.
So I don't like that. See, maybe you should be a detective.
I don't like that
Or an
behavior.
ethical hacker.
What is that?
That machine just turned on.
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe it's time for a beer.
Yeah, is that
Hopsy, you want a beer? That's it here. That's crazy. Yeah, I'd have a problem with
You
that
know
too.
what? You need to start, like, I just got a vision. Like some sort of podcast or some sort of blog, like this is not right. Like when you start finding out these things in your little detective ways, let us know. You know,
Right? I
Spread
didn't
that
know.
word
Yeah, that's-
about braces and blah blah.
That's bad.
Well, and I mean, granted, that was a small sampling of people that I knew who've gone there and what they've paid. And I know that every mouth is different, but
Well, if every mouth is different, then every mouth should be charged differently. Like my two kids are going to not that orthodontist. We have
Right.
to go to a specialist because of their teeth, but I'm paying a different price for both of them because they're having totally different stuff done. I mean, George hasn't started yet, but when they gave us the quote, they were close in price, but they weren't the same. I mean, they both have headgears, but for different reasons. And they both have braces, but doing different things. And they were comparable, but not the same. Which I go, okay, well, they really went, headgear is $100. This is $200. This one's $12 and this one's $14. And there was some difference between. But that, I don't like that.
yeah, I just kind of feel like if you're getting the same product, everybody should be charged the same amount, no matter if you have insurance or if you don't.
Yeah, it's the inflating it for insurance purposes because insurance is supposed to help you. So if you're paying $2,000 with or without insurance, why would you have insurance? Right?
Well, yeah, then why am I paying all
Exactly.
this money for insurance during the year? I don't know.
I don't know.
That's
Anyways,
so goes with what your career
Detective.
choice is.
Yeah,
detective.
And then expose.
I'm gonna
Do
go
some
with the
expose.
the ethical hacker.
Put somebody in cuffs, would you? Just put somebody in cuffs.
Could you imagine?
Slap them in cuffs.
So not me.
Spread them.
Did we look up an ethical
I did. I looked it up.
What's it say?
It basically said exactly what you said. It says, learn the skills to be ready to defend against future attacks.
What does that mean?
So it's like online hacker.
Like
You're-
thwarting cyber attacks.
Yes, exactly.
Photographer is pretty close to that too.
Is it?
The science of coding and decoding messages as to keep these messages secure.
Huh?
So you would go in and say, this is a Russian ad or whatever. You would tell us.
Right,
I would,
on Facebook.
with all my advanced computing skills.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I would do. I don't know half of these because I'm like the least confrontational person.
But detective
Ever.
is not
Yeah.
necessarily confrontational, I think. Well, I mean, I guess you are confronting when you're asking people questions and digging
Yeah.
in and trying to figure out stuff. But
Then you just write a report.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Or
I don't
arrest
know.
somebody.
I don't like to get in sticky situations when there's a lot of
I think you should arrest somebody. I'd like to see that, Kathy.
citizens arrest.
Put your hands up.
Yeah,
You're
did you
charging
see
too much
that?
for those braces.
Did you see that?
Somebody's going down. Heads will roll. Heads will roll. I could never see you doing
No, that.
No.
Be like, it's okay. I'll just pay.
that. Never mind.
It's okay.
I must have been mistaken.
Right.
Round 2.
Here's
I'll just pay
$2,000.
again. It's fine.
Well, I will say this. When we were looking for high schools, boy, both of you did your homework with that. You were great resources for me. I just piggybacked off of you. But Kathy would come back. We would research the same school, and then she'd come back and find 18 things I had not found. And I'd go, how did you even find that? In my own brain, I'd go, how did you even figure that out? How did you come up with that information? I looked at the same website you did. I missed half of it. But you always came up with stuff that I had totally missed.
Maybe there's something in there.
Right.
Maybe there's
And
something
how can
in
we
there.
make money? How do you
I
make
know,
money
right?
I have no
off of
idea.
that?
How can you make money off that?
I have no idea.
Private detective?
Yeah, how
You
do
could
you
probably be a
monetize that?
detective for a lawyer. Like a what do they call that? Like a researcher?
Oh, or a like when they go on disability and they're lying about it.
Right.
Like one of
so
those.
you go follow them around, take
Yeah.
pictures of them water skiing.
Yeah.
right. In trapeze class.
Yeah, yeah.
On their spare time.
Exactly. That is not therapy.
It's traction. No, it's trapeze school.
It's trapeze.
No, I think
I don't know. I don't know how we can monetize that. Help me out here, ladies.
Right. I gotta think about that. But just like on these websites for the schools, they put out, or the tours you go on,
Yeah.
they put their best and brightest kids up there
Yeah.
and tell you, what, but somebody has to dig to go, okay.
You're good at that too, though, Margaret. I always like going on tours with you too, because I would go like, she's going to handle this. I'm just going to sit back,
Just gonna
listen to
coast
all the
on.
questions she asks, and then I'll go, no questions. Margaret has
She
it.
got it.
Like I was interrogating the police officer outside of that
I
one
know,
school.
right? That's what I mean. You have all these questions that I go, I never even thought to ask that question. Like my brain didn't even think about any of that stuff. And sometimes I think, wow, my intelligence really lies in other places. Like, I'm not dumb, but I really don't think about some of that. It doesn't even come in my brain. She was interrogating this police officer about traffic, about crime,
Right.
about everything. I was like, wow,
in and around the school.
and it was really good information, like really important
Yeah.
information that I would never have thought to ask anybody.
Right, because he's going to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, he
didn't-
was LAPD.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He wasn't.
he's going to tell you how it is.
Yeah. So, yeah, we need you, Kathy. I need you to, dig deep in some of
investigate your
these things
dental
and find
record.
out the truth.
Bills.
Dun dun dun. What are those like?
Ethical hack people.
Ethical hacker. I'm gonna start working on my ethical hacking.
Yeah, right.
What'd you
All
get
right.
over there?
I'm a photographer also.
But you didn't get
Number one, photographer.
you didn't get farmer anymore.
I didn't get farmer anymore. No more farmer. And mine was detective.
Oh,
And in that other
interesting.
test I took years ago, it was like police officer / detective, agricultural manager, which is like a farmer,
Right.
and writer. Those were my top three. But that was probably 10 years ago, 8 years ago. So it's interesting that it changed. Photographer was my number one. And then interior designer. I was like, I would never be an interior designer. But then someone, because I don't like decorating, but someone explained to me, I was saying that to someone after that, and they were like, that's not all they do. They also spatially design things. Like, think about a kitchen designer. They're not an architect. They spatially design
Right,
how
you're
things
good at that.
function. And I go, oh, that I'm really good at.
Yeah, you're
Right.
really good at that.
But what pillow goes with that
Right,
curtain?
no,
I can't do that.
no.
I mean, I get by.
Yeah.
But everything looks good, but not finished.
Right.
Like, not like, wow. I don't have that
Right.
factor where people come in and go, your house is so amazing. Because I don't decorate like that.
Yeah.
But the function,
Right.
the flow,
How things work, what makes
yeah,
sense.
what tile goes with what backsplash, what goes with what, that I can do too.
yeah, you're really good at that.
But like fabric and frou-frou, and I'm not good at that. So when the person explained it to me, I was like, okay, that makes more sense, because I designed our whole house.
Yeah.
Right.
Turned out fabulous.
I think it turned out really good, but the decorating leaves a little to be desired.
Right.
Put it that way. And then my third was humanitarian, which is like my Girl Scout stuff. And then number 4 was author, and then film director, and then art director, and then filmmaker, and then journalist, photojournalist, entrepreneur, psychologist.
Wow, that's pretty right on.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty right on. I think I do a lot of that on this podcast. Like, I do a lot of well, maybe not. Art directing? I don't know. Maybe not. But I helped Bert with a lot of this stuff.
Sure, you did. You did your bags.
Yeah, I did do
That's
my
art-
bags.
Art directing.
I guess so, yeah. But anyway, I thought, well, that's pretty right on, because I helped Bert with his career a lot. I shoot all his videos for him, not all of them, but a lot of them, which is kind of like filmmaking.
Right.
So
How can he complain about your photography skills?
I know, right? He
His
keeps
videos
asking
are
me to do it.
Right.
So I must get it level sometimes. But it was pretty fascinating. I was like, wow. And I was surprised that the animal stuff was gone. I mean, it's just totally gone. You know how many animals I have? It was way down here. I have an animal behavioral specialist, but way down.
I don't have anything that has to do with money, accounting, bookkeeping,
Are you
or
kidding?
anything until the 5th page.
What?
2, 3, 4. Oh, the 4th page. It says stock trader. Almost at the end.
And that's what you do for a living.
And then financial analyst is at the bottom of the next page.
That's crazy,
Isn't that
Kathy.
interesting?
Do you love
Right below
accounting?
air traffic controller. Do I love what?
accounting?
No.
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 So probably when those questions came up that were related to those, you're probably like, nah, and rated like, didn't you rate like a
Yeah,
dislike or
Yeah.
like or something like that?
I mean, I don't particularly like accounting. I like dealing with, money and numbers and that type of stuff. And stocks, and I like all of that, but I don't particularly like the ledger, the general accounting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how'd that make you feel when what you do every day was at the bottom of the list?
Well, I'm kind of thankful I don't do it too much every day, like full time. I'm glad it's a part-time thing, but I do enjoy what I do. I do enjoy what I did. And And what I did before, because a lot of it was sales, a lot of it was talking to people and like helping make their dreams come true. This is something that they've waited for their whole life and they're finally going to do it.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that part of it was fun. I never liked the like pitching things to them though. Like I never liked to try
sales
and
pitch.
encourage them to purchase warranties or that type of stuff. I never liked that.
Right.
But I don't mind the paperwork part, and I didn't mind getting the units actually financed and doing all that stuff. That was fun.
And what are you talking about?
But motorhomes. Does
Motorhomes.
anybody need a motorhome?
I would love.
I
it's
would
my
love
dream too.
Really?
I just need somewhere to park it.
Right.
I love motorhomes.
Me too.
Do you really?
Yes.
It's been my dream. My kids too. We're all like, look, that's what. Every time we're out on the 5, I want that one. I want that one.
Oh, I love them.
I mean, they're so nice now. They're so much money.
Yeah, they are expensive. Yeah.
They're super expensive. But I mean, people have been waiting their whole life to do this, and it's a
Right.
big dream, and they finally are there and able to buy it, which that part of it's fun.
And then you wonder how long that lasts. Like, do they really want to be on the road all the time? Do they want to tow it or do they want to drive it?
We don't do anything. I've never done anything that you tow. They're usually big, giant units. And it's interesting. Some people use them all the time like they had planned to. And sometimes they go and sit and then they bring them back so we could resell them. And then other times it's pretty tragic. People have waited too long. Like instead of doing what they want to do when they're still young and fit and healthy to do it, they've waited too long and they've finally saved up enough money and they've bought this big giant motorhome, and then, you know, a year later their wife passes away or the husband's sick or something and they have to resell it, and that whole dream is dashed, which that part's really sad. And
Right.
it happened very often.
I bet
Or they're
it
just
does.
too old to be driving for 6 hours to wherever they're going.
They're in a
and-
40-foot motorhome.
Right. And then do you get sick of each other when, you know, there's no, I don't know. You know,
I don't know. There's a whole culture too. There's
Yeah,
a whole
yeah.
group. They all travel together. They have their happy hour, their ice cream sundaes, and there's a whole different group of people
Yeah.
out there.
It's a culture.
It is a culture.
Yeah, my dad has a motorhome. He has a towable motorhome, and my cousin has a towable motorhome, and they camp together probably every 6 weeks. They go somewhere
Oh my gosh, that's a
and
lot.
camp, and they love it. They love it. They have their little systems down. My dad has these like scooters. They're like electric bicycles. They're not even a moped, that have baskets on the back, and they strap it to the back of the thing, and then they can scoot around the campground. And yeah, they love it. My cousin's my age and goes with my dad and his girlfriend. They have a blast. They play cards, they play games all night and just bullshit, and then go home, and it's cheap. You know, they own the motorhome. So going to these campgrounds is very inexpensive to pay the rental fee to park your RV. It's like $30 a night.
Right.
So as opposed to going and spending $150 in a hotel, they go do that. They have their own kitchen. They cook. They go out to eat like one time. So for them, it's kind of an inexpensive way of vacationing, really. And, you know, in Georgia, there's so many places you could go that are beautiful.
So I was going to ask you, do they go different places?
They do. They mostly go to Tennessee. You know, the mountains in Tennessee are just beautiful. They mostly head up to Tennessee. They don't really go to Florida or
lots of lakes.
lots of lakes, and they go to Alabama. I don't really hear much go to the Carolinas. That's a bit far of a drive. You know, Georgia's the biggest state east of the Mississippi. It's a pretty large state. So to get to some places is just too far to drive. So they usually try to stay within a couple hours. And Tennessee's just beautiful. So they go to Tennessee a lot. They go to Pigeon Forge. Go to Dollywood, you know.
Dollywood.
Good
I've
old
never been to
Dolly.
Dollywood.
I've never been to Dollywood either, but I hear it's great.
Right.
You should go rent a motorhome, go to Dollywood.
I know, with my
Check
dad.
it out.
So anyway, well, that's cool. You were like fulfilling people's dreams.
Yeah, I like that part of it. But now I'm going to get on my detective and my ethical hacker.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Tatum's got to go. Oh, please.
I know, right?
my
She would
God.
probably totally
First
agree with
subject.
that. She'd be like, oh, yeah, that's right. That's spot on.
You have no
Detective,
idea.
what is she up to?
Right, right.
What are you doing with that phone?
Yeah.
Right.
Let me see that phone. Where have you been?
So, Margaret, your neighbor did a test, and I wrote the test down, and now I can't find where I wrote it down. I found your brochure. What was it called?
It's on that brochure, I think.
I couldn't find it. I just looked for it.
Oh, okay.
And it didn't jump out at me. It was called. See, it's not jumping out at me. I feel like I'm taking up too much time looking for it. But I called them.
Oh, you did?
I did. I called
how
them
exciting.
to see if I could set up a test for Georgia. This is an aptitude test. They say that once you take it, those results last your whole life. You don't have to ever retake the test. And it basically tells you what you're good at. It tells you kind of what you're really good at. Like if you're good with your hands, or if you're good with spatial stuff, or if you're good with communicating, or some. I wrote it down, and I wish I had looked it up before we got here.
Let me see that brochure.
But the lady was really helpful. She told me you can test as early as 14 years old, and the test results will be the same no matter how old you are. But she recommended that we wait until she's a junior in high school.
Okay.
She said she felt like as a junior in high school, they are starting to think about the future in a different way. So not that the test would change or the results would change, but that the results become more applicable to them. So like at 14, if they get the result, you're really good with your hands. They don't really relate it to work or relate it to anything other than you're really good with your hands, you know?
Right.
So she said we could totally do the test, because I was going to give it to Georgia for her birthday. For Christmas. And the lady said, you can totally do that. And then you can schedule a follow-up 2 years from now when she's thinking about starting college. We can give you the results now and then talk to you again in 2 years, or you can just wait for 2 years. So I asked Georgia what she wanted to do, and she wanted to wait. She was like, let's just wait till I'm a junior. But
it seems to make more sense that then they have some sort of idea of what they're thinking about and what they're more interested in.
Yeah, where like she said, it's more, the results are more applicable to them.
Right, how to interpret it.
Yeah, how to interpret it, because now they interpreted it kind of just flatly.
Mm-hmm.
It's Johnson O'Connor Research Foundation. So
Okay.
it's JOCRF.org.
JOCRF.org. Okay, Johnson O'Connor Research Foundation.
Yeah. And they're all over the country.
They are, and it seemed really fascinating. I guess you go in and you do a few hours of testing. There's some psychology testing. What word am I looking for?
Psychological?
Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. Psychological. Thank you. My psychological testing. And then there's some skill testing, I guess you said, and language testing, and there's all kinds of tests.
Musical, they could see.
Yes.
They want to see if you can hear what note. There's a difference in the notes,
Right?
Then they tell you to build 2 or 3 puzzles, and first they'll give you a flat one-dimensional puzzle to see if you can put it back together, and then. This is what my neighbor told me, because he could not do the one that was flat. But when they made a 3-dimensional puzzle, he got it super quick.
Interesting.
So the way he sees things is more
interesting.
3-dimensional. So if I would love Gabriella to do it too.
Okay.
When Georgia does it, maybe they could go
together.
Yeah, I think
Totally.
that would be a great gift to give somebody their age to at least get some sort of idea of what they're interested in.
Right.
Yeah, I think that would be a great gift. I don't even think it's what you're interested in. I think it's what you are good
What
at.
you're good at.
What you're good at.
And then we send them to Jair, or Jair will have
Yes.
Jair do a test and see what we come
Could
up
do
with.
that. Yeah, he says he tests 16 years old or older.
Okay.
He thought at 16 is when they're kind of
That would be junior year.
developing.
They'd be
Yeah,
16.
Yeah.
be a big package.
Yeah.
Right. Here's your aptitude, and here's your behavior.
Yeah.
And Jair does a value system, so that you know your value system, and that's how he said he can tell if someone's going to stay married. If a couple's going to stay married, is if their value system is similar. It doesn't
So-
have to be the same.
Bert did it too?
Bert did too. Our value system was very similar. So he was like, even though he's 98% self-focused and you're 98% other-focused, that's not healthy, but your value system lines up. So you'll work the behavior stuff out because your values line up. So you'll stay married forever if, anything catastrophic happens, maybe. But just based on our testing, he was like, you guys are a good couple for marriage. I thought that was really interesting too. That would be a good thing? I wonder. Well, maybe a good thing. I don't know. To give a couple who's getting married.
Right.
Counseling.
Yeah.
Or had to have kids. They should have one to see if you're good at having kids. You should
my
have
God.
kids. 'Cause
Lord.
Some people could
Who
jump
would
into
pass that?
The 98% self-focused I'm married to would have failed. No kids for you. You got to have a 98% other focus to
Well,
back
really
you up.
think about it. Like, I am not built to have kids.
Right.
You know, maybe that's why I'm on the fence. Maybe we should not do this,
Right.
which would help tremendously for some of these
So many
kids out
people
there.
who are not meant to have kids. There's
Yeah.
no shame in not having
No,
kids. It's
no,
fine.
it's just not-
I have two cousins who don't want kids. One of
Right.
them got pregnant on contraception. So she was like, well, guess I'm having a kid now. But she kept going, I just don't think, it's going to change my focus. And I don't want to change my
Right.
focus. And then,
Right.
you know, God changed her focus for her. And she's an amazing mom, like rock star mom. I
Right.
keep thinking, well, you were really meant to be a mom.
Exactly.
And she didn't even know it.
She didn't even know it. She
Right.
was really, well, I knew it the whole time. She was so great with my kids. I kept going, you're so good with my kids. Why don't you want to have your own kids?
Right.
And she's like, because I don't want to split my focus. I don't want, she's a lawyer. And she's like, I don't want to stop being a lawyer to raise kids. I just don't want to. So now she's still working. And I think that bothers her a little bit because she can't just focus.
She feels like she's cheating one side over the other.
yeah.
That's really tough. That whole work-life balance is, that's a whole can of worms.
It's very
to open up.
valid.
It's really, there's no right, no wrong there.
No, there's no right, no wrong. And I felt that way. I was working full time until Isla was 4. And I kept going, I pretty much suck at all of it.
Right. To try to do two things great, I don't think you can do that. I remember the best TV I ever saw, and I always remember this, was Barbara Walters talking to Oprah Winfrey. And this is a time where everyone's like, "Hey, you can have kids, Oprah," and she's like, "No, I don't. It's not what I want to do." And I think about it, and then Barbara Walters said, because Barbara Walters had a daughter or adopted a daughter,
Yes, she did.
and I don't think they're that close, or it was a tough go.
It was.
And Barbara Walters says you can't do both.
Right.
You got to pick.
Yeah.
If you want to do something good. So for those people out there who think, oh, I can work and I can have a career and raise kids, well, you're going to do one of them half-ass,
Right. Unless you hire somebody who does a fabulous job to help you with your kids, and some people choose that. And I don't think we should have any judgment on that. You can be a loving parent and work full time and have a loving person take care of your child while you're at work. It's not the
totally agree.
choice I made, but I think women make those choices. And think about it too. We're in a different world now where a lot of women are breadwinners. They're the breadwinners.
Right.
So they don't really maybe have the option to say, I'm going to quit. We're going to live on your income, because that may not work in their dynamic. So they have to make a choice that says, I'm going to work and I'm going to trust this person to be as loving, as caring as.
I disagree. I really think the kids want their mom, unless you're not a very good,
no.
loving mom.
I think their kids do want their mom, but
Yeah.
I think that not everybody has that as an option.
No, they don't.
Yeah,
You're
as
right.
an adult.
And that's what she was saying, that you can't do both great.
Right. I agree with that.
That
Yeah.
if you want to be a great mom,
Mm-hmm.
you got to maybe sacrifice your work.
Right.
But if you're gonna think like, I can do both of these great, because I know I can.
Right.
I can go to work and be a great mom at the same time. I think and have this big successful career.
It's just
kinda
hard. There's not
disagree.
enough hours in the day. You can't be at two places
No,
at
you
once.
can't. And your mind has to be kind of focused on your kids. There's so much in their development to try to figure them out and do the best for them. I think it would be a hard go, like she said. And I thought, thank God somebody's saying that out loud and on TV, because I have felt that way forever. And I chose just to be a mom,
Right.
and not have a career. And that's completely fine with me. But for the moms that are torn, I think that's a real struggle for them.
It is a struggle. My sister-in-law has a 1-year-old and she has to work.
Yeah.
And it's and she says, she's really great with him. He's an awesome mom. She's a really great mom. But at the same time, she's like, I don't know that I could sit home all day with him. This may be the best for me, is that I love him so much, and she's hired someone who loves him so much. She's a great nanny for him. And then when Cottie's with him, she's fully present, fully plugged in with him, I mean, like rock star mom when she's home with them. So I wonder if some people need that balance too, you know. And Cotty doesn't work crazy hours, you know. She goes to work at 10, she's home by I think 6, which is all day for a little kid, but it's not like 7 to 7. She still gets a pocket in the morning and a pocket at evening, and then all weekend. You know, no one takes care of him. She takes care of him all. She's really plugged in when she's home. And I know some people's personality is such that they have a hard time just being in one place. So it may be even better for some people. I'm not saying Cotty's this way, but for some people it may be better to have that time to focus on work, and then they can compartmentalize it. I could never do that. I just couldn't compartmentalize it. The whole time I was at work, I was worried about my kids.
Yeah,
exactly.
I couldn't do that.
Right.
But some people can.
I agree. I think it's all individual. Some people work better when they work and they spend time with their kids, and some people work better when they're just with their kids. Some people work better when they're at work most of the time and their kids are with the loving nanny and they
But you both are talking about yourselves. You're not talking about what's best for the kid.
No, I'm talking about I'm not talking about what's best for the kid.
Right. Because that's
so that's what I'm
That's a different point.
That's a whole.
Yeah, I'm thinking what's best for the kid.
Well, the kid of course wants their mom.
I think that's what that she was saying too, is that her daughter suffered.
Yeah, of course,
her chasing her career.
Yeah.
And
her career was insane.
Yeah.
Barbara Walters' career, she was in like
She was
Kabul.
not. She was not going from 10 to 5.
Right.
No.
And so don't have kids. She was basically saying, Oprah, don't listen to these people. If you don't want kids and you'd rather have your career, do that.
No, totally.
Don't think you have to do both.
No, you don't. You don't have to do both.
Yeah.
You don't have to have kids and not have a career. You don't have to have a career for an excuse to not have kids. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do, really. But yeah, I think the kids. It is a different thing for the kids when they're not raised by their mom. I agree.
Right.
Well, when Tatum was born, I worked full time, and I did with Drake as well. But Derek quit his job, and he was like
Mr. Mom,
stay-at-home dad for a little while. It was pretty interesting.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it worked out really well. He had a job that wasn't great, and he went back and got his certificate while he was staying at home, and he watched her. And I was really freaked out about childcare and who was gonna.
Yeah.
But at that time, it didn't make sense for me to quit. It wouldn't have worked.
Right. And
So-
how lovely for them to have that time together. 'Cause a lot of men don't have that.
It was amazing the stuff they did.
Yeah.
They had their own cooking show. They would
God,
make
right.
videotapes of them cooking, and
And they are
in the
super close.
baby Bjorn and stuff. So it was pretty amazing for them to bond.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Well, Bert had a similar experience, I think, not exactly the same, but his schedule was so inconsistent. I had to have a nanny when I was working. I worked sort of part-time, but it was really full-time. I worked part-time in an office and the rest of the time in my home. So I could, work while they napped. But sometimes I had to go to the office. So we had a nanny for pockets of the day, like 4 hours a day or something. But he would be home with the nanny sometimes. And he still talks about that being the best time of his life.
Right.
That he had so much fun because the girls were little, and he'd just pile everybody in the car and go to the park, and he'd pile everybody in the car and go to Trader Joe's, nanny, everybody. And they'd all go together because some days Bert wouldn't be home, and I'd have to have the nanny, if he wasn't home. So they had both. They had Bert and
That's nice.
Annette or Nikki or Chloe. So it was really cool that they had both of that. And the girls still love their nanny so much.
We need a babysitter for tomorrow night, or Saturday night, and I just sent our old nanny a note and said, hey, you want to come over? She's like, I never thought I'd be able to watch them again. They're getting so big. They're all still super close, which is great.
That is great. It's another level of love, isn't it?
It is.
Another level. Someone else they get to love and be attached to in a certain way. I mean, being gone 4 hours a day was nothing. I still was pretty much in charge. But it was cool that they got that time. And they could walk down the street and see me at my office and stuff. But anyway.
And now we're totally off track.
Really off track, but that's okay. Well, we started with the testing for our kids. I think we should plan to do that when they're juniors. We'll just put a pin in it for a couple years. And
when you look at the price, you're like, oh my gosh, it's so much. But my neighbor explained to me that he took the test too late, I guess. And so he went through college and paid for college and majored in something he really didn't end up doing. So he spent all this money majoring something and then finding out he wasn't going to do it. So this could save them, when you look at it that way, $700 compared to thousands and thousands of dollars for college to have to go back and reschool themselves for something else. It kind of isn't that much money.
Oh, it's 100% an investment in their future.
Yeah.
I'm happy to plunk down $700 for their future. And Jair's not cheap either.
How much is he?
I think he didn't charge us, so I don't really know, but I think it's about the same price.
Right.
So, that's an investment, but it is an investment in their future to say, here's 2 great gifts.
Right.
To help you kind of figure out the path. I wish I'd had that help.
Me too.
I want it now. Both of them. I would do both of them myself, which I'm, might do just to see what comes up.
Plus, you said it doesn't really change. Like, it doesn't really change throughout your life. So they're going to have that forever. They'll be able to go back and say, okay, well, maybe this top one didn't work out, but maybe I should explore what the second best thing I'm good at.
Right. Or even, if you come up with, if you're like, I don't know how specific they get with this testing, with the aptitude testing, if they just say something like, you're good with your hands, such as woodworker, blah, 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 blah. I don't know how specific they get, but I would imagine if they were not super specific, there's a broad interpretation of some of this, Good with your hands could mean a chef. It could mean a massage therapist. It could mean, like I said, I don't know how they report their findings, but maybe interesting to interpret it differently when you're older too, and see what that means.
Right. I think he showed me his daughter's test, and
he did.
Yeah, and I should have brought it in, but it was like lines of like how strong you scored on all of these things, and it has nothing to do with if you can do math or whatever.
Right.
So I would not want people not to do it because of that. They're like, I can't do equations.
Right.
It's not like that.
Right.
So and then a psychologist meets with you and sits down with you and explains everything.
Right.
So I thought that was a big bonus.
Right.
For them to sit with you instead of just hand you a report.
Right.
They'll explain it for you. To you.
And this aptitude test is all over the country. It's in lots of different major cities. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to live in LA.
Yeah.
You could look at the website, the jocrf.org. jocrf.org, and see if there's something close to you.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank God for Halston.
I know. Thank God for Halston.
And I think it used to be like a 3-day test or something, half day, but now isn't it different? Did she tell you differently?
She told me it's 3 days, that you could make it like, I think she said you could make it a little shorter, but usually people get really tired. Mm-hmm. So it's better to kind of spread it out, to do like 4 hours, take a lunch and do 2 hours, and then 4 hours, take a lunch and do 2 hours, instead of doing 4 hours lunch, 4 hours, 4 hours lunch, 4 hours.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, she said it's better. And then you do all the testing kind of clustered together, and then you come back like a week later to get your results. So at the end of the day, if you do the 4 lunch, 4 hour, 4 hour lunch, 4 hour, you can do that in 2 days. Mm-hmm. And then your third day is meeting with a psychologist. But she finds that it's better if you break it up a little. Mm-hmm. She said people start getting really tired in the afternoon.
Right. Like my test where I was like, I just got to get through this.
Just check the one, check the one. Right. And if you want it to be accurate, which you would want it to make it the 3 days, to do it. Or maybe she said they do 3 hours and then lunch and then 3 hours or something like that. Anyway, it's less time in the day to do it more days.
Yeah.
And she felt like that was just easier for people. Not even that it was less accurate. She didn't give me that indication at all. Just that it was a little easier to get through.
Right.
To not be there all day.
Yeah, that's a lot of hours.
And what's Jair's test?
Jair's test is online. It's similar to this career test. It took a lot longer. It was a lot more in depth. There were 2 tests. One was about your behavior and the other one was about your values. So, it was ranking things in order of importance to you for the value testing, all different types of scenarios and charitable items and service work and money-making activity, just all different kinds of things that you would have to rank in order of importance. And that test probably took 20 or 25 minutes. just to do the value test. And then the behavior test took a little longer. I think I spent about an hour on both tests.
Oh, that's not very much at all.
It's not, but I did this career test in like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's similar to this in that you're, if you have to pick one of these, which one would you choose? And then rank this from 1 to 10, and then list this in order of importance. For the behavior one, it wasn't so the same. It was a lot of different ways of asking different questions. But it took me about an hour to do both of them.
It's interesting that he got so much information out of an hour's worth of testing. That's
was
amazing to me.
Unreal. Because what was unreal to me was his interpretation of it too. For him to look at it and go, if you're 98% other focused, you definitely had some trauma. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. I don't see that ever. So this is telling me your behavior is laying on top of some trauma. There's a reason why you're behaving this way. And I was like, wow, that's...
So you'd rather take care of other people than yourself? Is that the
Correct.
thing?
Right.
It's easier for you to take care of other people than to take care of yourself.
Yes. Well, sometimes when you... what happened for me is that I had to make sure my parents were okay so that I was okay. Right? So my dad had his issues, my mom had her issues, and I had to make sure they were okay so that I could be okay. So there was a lot of caring for and parenting from like age 4. Like when my mom left, my dad really fell apart. And so I remember just watching him to make sure he was okay when I was really small. So that became how to survive. That changes from like, oh, I'm a little worried about you, to
Right.
I actually have to make sure that this is okay or I'm not going to get to school.
Yeah, you
Right.
moved from the child to the caregiver.
I did at a very young age for both my parents. So then that's my lane. That's my comfortable lane.
That's what you're used to.
That's my
Right.
safe. I'm
Yeah.
safe. If I do that, then I'm safe.
Right.
Because I had to do that because when you're a child, you really are looking for safety and security. When you don't have that, when you're in that place where a parent is really off, I think, or at least for me, I had to look to make sure I was okay. I was going to be safe. It wasn't about food scarcity or anything like that. It was about emotional safety. So yeah, I just have to make sure Bert's okay. I have to make sure my kids are okay. I have to make sure all my friends are okay. Mm-hmm. And then I'm okay because I'm. It also, I think, made me feel like that's where my value came from. Mm-hmm. My value came from how well I focused on you,
How well you take care
of you.
of others and making sure that they're okay. If they're okay, you're okay.
I'm the absolute giver, not the receiver. I'm the air plant that needs nothing.
Boy, that resonates with me.
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
Me too. When my dad left, and our family fell apart. I mean, my mom had to raise all of us with.
How old were you?
nothing. It was before kindergarten.
Oh, you were little.
I was little, but we had 7 kids, and he didn't pay any child support.
Oh my God.
And so she was left on her. She had to go take over a business that she knew nothing about, and then just things. I just became like, I can't make any waves,
Right.
Because there's enough going on in my family. I have to be whatever is going on with me. If I'm happy, sad, or upset, or whatever, I'm not going to put that out there because my mom got enough on her plate. Why would I make it harder on her?
Right.
So that makes you grow up and suck everything up and just be like, I'll just deal with it on my own.
Yeah.
So same thing where I had to feel like I had to take care of the family or mom, at a really young age.
And you had a special needs sibling.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So that is another layer.
Right. That
Yeah.
I had to be, that was another thing for us. So I had to be like, oh, I can't be a bad kid, or I can't, I got to play the cheerleader. I'm always happy,
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. I think that would be really hard, I would imagine, because you feel like there's no space for you to have needs.
Yeah.
Because the special need child needs are so overwhelming.
Right.
That your needs your logical brain goes, seriously?
Right.
Right.
Do you really need that, Margaret?
Right.
And you know, that would be really hard.
Yeah. So
That would be really hard. And, you know, I wonder how that affects, I was talking to somebody the other day about this, you know, intimacy, not sexual intimacy, but intimacy between friends or siblings, to be able to share your need or your feeling is very intimate and vulnerable. And if you learn to not do that, it's really hard to do that as an adult. I learned to not show nothing. I was a blank slate.
Right.
No happy, no sad, no anger, no nothing. I was just dead.
Right.
So then to be able to open and say, I trust myself with these feelings and I trust you with these feelings, because I didn't trust my mom with my feelings. That was not safe. But you didn't, it's not that you didn't trust your mom. You just were such a compassionate person. You didn't want to put anything else on her plate.
Right.
But then how does that manifest in today's life, do you find?
Kind of the same, like same thing. My needs come last and take care of everybody else. What I do see as a parent, though, I really encourage them to show their feelings. Like, it's okay to be upset. If you're mad at me, if you're mad at your dad, if you're mad at your sibling, say it. We want to hear it.
Right.
You know, and and totally validate their feelings.
Right.
No matter how silly it seems, like you can't find your pink sock, you know.
But do you see them doing that, or do you see them keeping things close?
I'm hoping by their behavior, where they get upset about little things, I'm thinking that it's working. Like, they're able to, you know, and then there's a fine line of, like, you know, you still have to take care of your own stuff, but, you know, I definitely want to validate their feelings and let them speak up to us. Like, if there's something wrong with my parenting, you can tell me, and you can I will try to accept that,
Right.
you know, or, you know.
Or at least you can talk about it.
Yeah, talk about it.
Yeah, because they may think something's wrong.
Yeah.
But it may actually have a purpose they don't understand. I know
Yeah.
we do that a lot in parenting, where they think something really sucks that we're doing, and I'll go, let me explain to you why we're doing this. And they go,
Right.
okay, fine. I
Right.
get it.
Right.
But sometimes that perspective, why would they have that perspective? They're a child.
Yeah.
They would never have that.
Right.
So, but it's good they feel safe enough, because it sounds like, not that you didn't feel safe enough, but that you just chose not to do that.
Yeah.
Because it was too much going on in your house.
So I want to make sure they talk about what's going on, and it's okay to be mad that your pink sock's missing. And
Yeah.
we gotta find it.
Yeah. Now, do you feel like, because I do this sometimes, you can't help but filter your present life through your past life, because that's all you know, right?
Right.
To an extent. I don't think every time someone's mad at me, they're going to leave, like my mom would leave when she got mad. But I do sometimes wonder if my perspective affects my parenting in a negative way, you know, where I go, maybe that was a little too much, or maybe that was not enough.
I don't know how it couldn't, though. I mean, because that's what you know, and that's what you've seen and experienced. And therefore, I mean, while you try and change things, like you try to encourage the kids to talk, I try to encourage my kids to talk. One of them is a talker, one of them is not a talker.
Who's the talker?
I mean, about feelings and stuff.
Ah, okay.
About feelings and emotions and what's
see.
going on. One of them keeps their things really close to their vest, and the other one will tell you everything.
Right.
But I think that comes from your actions, which they pick up on, come from what you've experienced.
Right.
So it's kind of hard for that not to have a direct impact on how you parent.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, I know I was thinking about something specific when I brought that up. I think now I've lost it. I'm having a bad brain day. My psychologist psychoanalytic thing. I can't. My brain is farting today. Yeah, I think. Oh, I know what it was. You know, I sometimes don't want them to suffer. I don't want them to feel certain things that I felt.
Right.
Yeah, you want to protect them.
Yeah, and I don't know that that's necessarily always good. I think sometimes it's good, but I think not that I want them to suffer, but that the reality of life is sometimes you go to school when you're sick.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do.
Right.
Sometimes you call me and I can't pick you up.
Right.
When I really could move the mountain and the mountain next to it
Right.
and pick you up. But is it the end of the world that you are at school sick for one day?
Right.
No. But it tears me up.
Yeah.
You know, because you know how much I went to school sick?
Right.
You know how much I didn't have anybody to call? You know, I walked home every day from school to an empty house.
Right.
And, you know, it makes me anxious sometimes when they go into the territory that was my whole life. And so I think that I do things that I probably wouldn't do if I didn't have those experiences.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Right.
You know what I mean?
I totally know what you mean. And I've been thinking a lot what you're talking about as well is like maybe they should experience those things a little bit more. And I mean, just recently I thought it like an example of that. I was thinking about how, you know, our kids have it really good,
Oh, yeah.
really good. And they don't know.
They don't know. Yeah.
They don't.
They don't know and they don't appreciate it.
No.
And sometimes I feel like
Yeah.
it's like the camp. Camp is a good example. Camp's $400 or $500. I think I went to camp 1 year,
Right.
and I think it was because somebody else paid for it.
Right,
It's like
right.
my best friend's family
Yeah.
kicked the money in. But
Yeah.
I went to camp 1 year,
Yep.
and I completely remember every minute of that. And our kids are like, I don't know, Aloha Beach Camp or ski camp
Right.
or... You know, I don't want to do that anymore. The only thing they do, they go to Disneyland every year. It's like,
Yeah, right?
right?
Yeah.
How about if you stay home and rake leaves and do something
Right,
right.
1 year?
Yeah, that's what I think too. Yeah, I went to Disney World once.
Yeah.
Right after my mother took me to Disney World, paid the admission, went in and went, "Oh, you got to buy tickets for rides? We're leaving."
Oh my gosh.
And we left.
Oh my gosh.
We left. I was like, wait, I can't ride one ride? I think the admission ticket came with like 10 tickets.
You're right.
So I think I rode one thing,
Aw.
the tickets were gone, and we left.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
And I was like,
That was it.
seriously? And I had never been back to Disney World. That was the only time she took me ever.
Wow.
And I think I would never do that to my kids.
No.
Ever. Which that wasn't a good thing to do anyway. You promise your kid to take them somewhere and then go, this is
Right.
too expensive, and leave. But yeah, my kids have been to Disneyland a million times.
Yeah. So on one hand, I feel like I want them to be able to go to whatever camp. I want them to be able to take all these extracurricular activities to experience them because it's something that I didn't get to do. And then sometimes I find myself thinking, oh, you know what? I think they'd appreciate it a whole lot more if they knew, you know, this is not normal. This is not what normal people get to do.
No.
They're very privileged.
They are very privileged. Bert and I had this discussion 2 nights ago. We were having really ill-behaved children, really fighting about petty, stupid stuff constantly, and not sneaking off and using devices and blowing off their chores and giving me a hard time about homework, like all in one day. It was one like concentrated, compressed bullshit day. And at the end of the day, the next morning, I got up and I said, Bert, you know, I'm feeling really frustrated. I feel like I am just the bad guy from sun up to sundown. They push back for everything. And I'm asking them for reasonable things. I'm asking them to empty their lunchbox into the dishwasher.
Right.
No, you
I'm
didn't.
not asking them to dig a ditch in the backyard.
Right.
I'm asking them to put the laundry away that I have washed, dried,
Yeah.
and folded while they were at school. Just pick it up and put it away. I was like, look at this table. It's been 24 hours and it's still sitting there. And I have asked them 4 or 5 times. Yes, we can punish them and take shit away from them. And that's fine. We can keep punishing them. But I think that I just feel so frustrated in continually having to punish them for something they take for granted. Really. And Bert said, I think we need to figure out some way to expose them to a different kind of life. Like maybe we need to take them to a homeless shelter and see how those kids get ready for school.
Yeah.
And see who does their laundry and see who makes their food and see if there's some way they could interview somebody about what their life is like. And maybe it'll snap them out of it and realize they have it really good. That if someone's washed, dried, and folded your laundry, all you got to do is pick it up and put it in the drawer. Come on. That's pretty soft kids. And I feel like part of me feels like this is going to sound bad, but I'm embarrassed sometimes when I go home and I go, Yeah, I watch my cousins' kids who are way more self-sufficient and resilient in certain ways than my kids are, and I start feeling embarrassed. I start feeling like I've really left my roots, completely lost that part of how I grew up, and I kind of suck that I've allowed them to become really soft. I suck. And it came from the place of not wanting them to suffer the way I suffered, but it manifested in a different way, right?
Exactly.
And it sucks. Now that I look at it, I'm embarrassed.
Right.
I feel bad as a parent in some ways. Like it's a big deal lately where I go, wow, I can't believe my kids still fucking don't unload their goddamn shit into the dishwasher.
Right.
I've been asking for 4 years now.
It's all the same thing too. It's the lunch boxes, it's the clothes. It's last night it was you're a teenager and you don't know how to hold your fork. What?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. You're doing it wrong because you're lazy and you're going to be out to dinner one time with a boyfriend or with your friend and their parents are going to look at you and be like, God, she's that age and doesn't know how to hold a fork.
We have the same conversation. We make them eat. Isla eats with her hands. Like rice. She's rice with her hands. And we constantly going,
from Vietnam.
Eat with the fork. You have a fork. Chopsticks. A spoon. Something. Just not your hands. She roll her eyes and give us so much trouble because it's too much trouble to eat with a fork. Where I go, oh my God. I mean, we require every day that you eat with your fork. Why are you doing this? I mean, am I really going to have to punish you for not using a fork?
Right.
Come on. I don't want to just have you spend your whole life in lock and key because you're being a jerk for something so silly as eating with your hands at the table.
Right. It almost takes like a friend at this age, the peers, to go, what are you doing?
It does.
Because like,
Oh, that's interesting.
Benny puts his clothes away in his drawers, which he's supposed to do. It takes a lot of time to get him there, like you said. But he just throws them in there. So they're not folded and they're all jumbled up. And so he's been getting up and his shirt is completely wrinkled. His shorts are completely wrinkled for school. And I'm like, okay, I really could like take a spray bottle, like, or can you fix this? Nah, it's fine. But I want somebody at school to go, what is wrong? Why are your clothes so wrinkled? And that's when it's going to matter.
Dude, did you sleep in that?
Right.
Right.
Then maybe he'll.
That makes
All
sense.
right. Did you brush your teeth today? Ew, your breath is terrible. Coming from us, it doesn't matter. If it comes from a friend, that could change it.
I think you're right.
Okay, so can we hire a rogue friend?
Right.
Yeah, okay. Gabby Goldenberg, here's what you say.
This is what you
Right,
say.
Tatum,
right.
here's what you say.
That's
this is what you say.
We have to get them all involved.
Yeah,
Right.
give them a script.
Right.
Georgia Kreischer, tell her she must shower.
Right.
Every
Clean
other
your
day
fingernails.
minimum.
Yeah.
Oh my
Why are
gosh,
your
when's the
fingernails
last
so
time you washed
dirty?
your hair?
Yeah.
No pride of ownership here. You have a little pride of ownership in yourself and your possessions,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my soapbox for my parenting. I've been really feeling crappy about that.
Right. And they have to see empathy. Like, why am I up late at night taking care of all my business? Because I've been taking care of, because like the other day, Benny goes, your office is such a mess, Mom. I can't even get in there. And I'm like, I know, because I make sure the front of the house is clean. You know, you guys have your stuff done, and I never get to clean my office or my closet, which is also a huge disaster.
Right.
And so it made them think, like, you're right. You know, all of us are taken care of, but you haven't done yours.
Right.
I was hoping it would like resonate a little
Click.
bit. Like, let's give Mom a little break to take care of her own stuff.
Totally.
How did that work for you?
Not quite yet.
Well, you know, my mother-in-law says it's the same as when they're toddlers. You just have to keep planting the seed over and
Yeah.
over again, and eventually they get it. And they may not even get it till they're out of your house, but at
Yeah.
some point it sinks in. They go, "Oh, okay, I see."
Yeah.
We have the same thing. I will sit with my kids and list what I do in the house.
Yeah.
List it. Who does the dishes? Who does the laundry? Who takes out the garbage? Who feeds the dogs? Who feeds the cat? Who scoops the dog poop? Who feeds the chickens? And then they start shrinking like, oh.
Who feeds you and makes your lunch every day
Every day.
that you can't bother to bring home out of your locker?
Oh, God.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, mine comes home. They just don't unpack it into the dishwasher.
Right.
Suckers. All right. Well,
Enough of our lamenting.
enough. Yes.
But it's
Anyway,
universal. I think
It
everybody
is.
is going through this.
something
Everything.
similar, but I don't know if they are everywhere. I think they are here.
Yes.
But not everywhere. Not everybody. Because people email me and go, you guys, I've gotten emails saying, you guys suck as parents. You don't have kids that can put their dishes away, then you guys suck. And part of me goes, yeah, I kind of do.
Yeah.
That does kind of suck.
Yeah.
But I understand that as a teenager, I was a complete slob.
Yeah.
I was totally disorganized.
too.
Oh, I know what I was going to say.
What?
I had an idea. So did I tell you this? I might have told you this already. I was at the beach with some friends, a friend's father who has children who are out of the home. And the other mom and I were lamenting about our kids and how they don't put the clothes away or the what. And he said, oh, well, my daughters, they're older. I have a 20-something-year-old and a 30-year-old. And he had just gone to visit them in San Diego. And he walked into her house and he took his shoes off and left them in the middle of the floor, dropped his jacket on the couch and kept going. And she's like, Dad, you can just put your shoes over here. He's like, no, they're good.
Yeah.
They're good.
They're fine.
He ate, left his dinner plate on
Oh
the
my
table.
God.
And said, you just wait. Payback is fantastic.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So there is something to look forward to.
Right.
Nice. Well, I'll hang my hat on that.
Right.
Yeah.
We got to look forward to something.
Something, yeah. Well, thanks, ladies, for coming and talking about this. I thought it was pretty cool.
I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go work
Learn
on my
something from it.
ethical hacking.
I know. Go ethically hack some people. You can take some pictures of some animals.
Right.
Maybe that's it.
That's it.
Maybe you're an animal
pictures.
photographer.
There you go.
Something.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. And I'll
then
go.
what?
And then what? I don't know. Animal photographers make a lot of money. Yeah. Maybe you should buy a fancy camera and start practicing on your animals. They do. They make a lot of money.
They make a ton of money. People are crazy about their animals,
Right.
as we all know.
I just want someone to pay me to travel to go take pictures. That would be ideal.
Of animals?
Anything.
I'm joking. Yeah. That would be a
Pay
good
for my
job.
trip and my hotel and everything.
Yeah, totally.
But everybody wants that, don't they? Like, there's no jobs like that.
Well, on the Travel Channel,
Yeah.
There might be.
you could start hosting.
Yeah.
Hi, it's Margaret, and I'm here in Tibet with my pet elephant,
Take some photos.
taking pictures. I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool, and it does seem like it sort of lined up.
Sorta.
Yours is the one that I was shocked with, Kathy.
Yeah.
Maybe I was in a state when I took
Right.
it. I should retake it. Maybe I was worried about what the kids were doing or investigating something.
Suspicious.
Suspicious.
Oh,
Suspicious.
I'm never going to try to get one
Are you
over on
suspicious of a person?
No, I don't think so. I'm very trusting.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so either.
Hi, Bert Kreischer.
Geez. Okay, Bert's had enough. I think we should wrap it up. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate it.
All right.
All right, till next time.
You just finished?
Yeah.
Did you want to be on it? Were you missing?
No, what the fuck could you guys be talking about?
Oh, God. Motherhood,
We always talk about
kids,
careers,
how bad we're at parenting.